Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Dean here today with Burn 1, and I am joined with two people from my locals. One is the Ryan, who has been in one of our other videos, some of our other commentary videos. And the other is the, what are you, Ting the Destroyer. That's right, he is the local menace. He was the local menace, no longer.
I moved.
Until he moved. And basically what we're going to be doing is I never finished these EU games. We never finished doing the commentary. And, you know, there's still 2 more games I have footage of. So let's get right into it. We're going to be doing, I think, 1.5, maybe 2 times speed. You know, no time to, like, trying to minimize the downtime we have here. Probably skip ahead a little bit. Boom. So this matchup, if you guys don't know, is I'm still on the Don Machi. With the, you know, still don't know that the Hestia knife is blue. Or, like, doesn't have to have blue. And I am against 8 standby Mushoku. That's my opponent. With some spicy techs made to specifically counter the Danmachi matchup. Were you aware that Mushoku has a 1-1 Gizlane that cannot be reversed by cost zeros? I thought that was in the round 3 opponent, but this is actually the opponent that was playing it.
Yeah, that's the tech people are playing to counter Mushoku. It's the same thing that 8 Standby Nino has. You just put that card out, and then you just look at Danmachi and just say, okay, your entire deck is now just a worse 1k1 deck. Good luck, have fun.
It's, like, fairly large, right? Is it, or is it just 5/5? I forget.
I think it's a 6/5.
It, like, almost doesn't actually matter, because, like, it's invincible. It's invincible in the matchup, so it just, you know... They don't have to bleed resources by just standbying an Eris and then, like, having you get ran over.
Looks like it's a 6k, as long as you have another entree character on board, so...
So not hard for them?
Nope.
Yes, the hard ability of making sure you're playing the deck.
Oh, no. There's a bit of downtime here. Let's skip ahead about a minute or 2. Oh my, there's a little, we went too far ahead. Okay. The downtime is because you had to wait to start the round, so, you know. Have to get the recording started first, so we see the Hestia come down. 1, 2, and 3. It whiffs as always.
Sad.
But it's okay. It gets in there. It gets the mill. The deck speed has been started.
Ace 2?
I mean, like, even if that thing, you don't really care if that thing hits, right? It just adds a climax to grave, and it adds a, adds characters to grave, so you have, like, targets if you hit gates or pants. And yes, I still will use gate.
You want it to hit something. Normally you use it to just kind of mill, like, a firebolt, maybe. But the 1/1 event's really nice to have if you see that, so...
I mean, into this matchup, the 1/1 isn't needed every game.
No.
Also, any misplays, I'm not sure if we're going to see any, but I'm going to blame it on the fact that I believe this tournament was at, like, 7 a.m. Like, this round was, like, already 6 or 7 a.m. So we see this come down. He clocks himself. He grabs, I believe that was the 1/1 Eris, correct?
Yeah.
And he just takes the slow approach.
So if he's grabbing an Eris, that probably means his hand is already pretty set up. So I'm surprised he didn't slam a Rudy runner. Normally that's your ideal opening, is like a Rudy runner and a Rougier.
Well, it's okay, because Danmachi is incapable of clearing a 2K. The Snow Sprite Aqua was too much pressure against Danmachi, so I have to just slam the Bell and the Brainstorm to get some damage in. And he gets the double cancels. You know, I'm clearing the climaxes now, so we get the damage in later. Yeah, the power lines in Danmachi are really funny at level 0.
I think almost non-existent, isn't it?
It's, you play, like, this list plays specifically, I think, like, 8 cards. Maybe even 9 cards that are 500 power. So, if my opponent has anything, it is actually insurmountable.
There we see the 1/1 that can't be reversed by cost zeros. standby out right into the front row.
Here I am. I go straight to 1, which is fine for me. Not really too worried about it. And I get a cancel. And at this point, my opponent's showing, what is that, 3 climaxes out? Probably 4, because he...
That is 4. That is 4.
It's 3, right? There's 3 engraved.
No, it's 4.
I see 4 there. Did he trigger 1?
Yeah, but he twin-drived it out.
Yeah, he did, but he paid it out, yeah. He's currently out 4 climax.
Oh, yeah, because he played 1, he triggered... Yeah, he's out 4. And, here's the important thing. He did play the Eris climax, which tells me he had a second one in hand, I believe, right? Because there's no way he doesn't. I mean, you don't just, like, play the Eris climax in this deck. When you go search an Eris, you're not just going to play the standby.
Yeah, especially after searching the Eris, yeah.
So, I have a little bit of information here. However, he does have the Invincible card on the board. It will not die until level 2.
I don't think Don Machi can kill that card to level 2, because you need a cost 1 to kill it.
Yeah, you definitely don't play those. I start off with the Brainstorm, trying to get something. Of 3 Firebolts, look at that. That's how you play the deck. Then we get to slam down the bell. Get to use the salvage event. Grab back a healer. Definitely good. 4K. Draw ditch. Draw pants.
How many out at this point?
I'm not sure. I don't remember what my hand was. You know, this was a while ago because I was very bad at making content. Search 1. It's always nice, you know, because you get to look at the entire deck. You only have to be like, okay, is there at least one in the deck? And as long as there's one in, you can make sure that there's the second one in before doing the second search. So then I take the salvage as well. And thanks to that Hestia Brainstorm, there is no way that his card will ever win on defense versus mine. Trigger a pants early, grab back a, you know, grab back another climax for next turn.
Souls on 1.
Yeah, so he's basically out 6 already. But I hit one of the very few soul triggers in the deck, right? I think that's the other problem with this deck, is the deck wants to play a climax every turn to push damage, but then it plays no soul triggers. And in Modern Weiss, you need soul triggers.
Yeah, I do find that's a problem with some of the decks I currently built. I don't have enough damage from soul triggers.
Yeah, a deck like Don Machi, it's running like close to 30, right? 25 plus? Am I wrong on that?
I'm not sure. I don't play the deck.
It's got the 8 standbys. It has like the Giz lanes and all the level 2s and 3s.
Yeah, because I know for Sword Art, even with standby book, I have like 24 soul triggers in the deck.
Yeah. It is very strange to me because when people are telling me about Don Machi, they're like, oh, it's this aggro deck. We see another 1/1 Giz lane comes down. This guy doesn't need to do anything for the rest of the game, pretty much. Like, right? He just gets to sit on those and pretty much stress my board every turn on offense because the bells do not... They don't even try to hold board, right? They're like 4-5 on defense.
Notice the bells, they just don't want to stay.
Yeah.
However, I could clock myself here.
See, that's one thing Don Machi's really good at doing, is clocking yourself from either refresh damage or from level 0 to keep your level 1 combo around. For
an aggro deck, it hurts itself a lot, and it doesn't deal as much damage as other decks. So, I don't know. I think Don Machi's like pretty weak into the meta.
But yeah, peeking at my Mishoku list, I play 25 soul triggers, so half my deck is soul triggers. So
Yeah.
I'm hitting at least 1 or 2 of them.
Look at this. I take the bounce back. I just say, you know what? I've got the climax in hand. I think I feel comfortable with where my deck state is at. So I think I need this bell in order to play the game, I think was my thought. We see a standby come down. Double Giz lane back row. I get the cancel on 3. Feels nice, feels nice. And then another swing for 3, and I think my deck state should be fine. But I eat the damage. Oof. think it was rather unfortunate. I think there's like 1 or 2 climaxes left in there.
Ouch.
I'm just trying to think, like, how do I handle this, right? Like, how do you handle this unfortunate deck state?
There's 2 in deck and 1 in stock. So, and 1 in your hand, so there's only 4 in grave.
If you had the Hestia that mills 3 on play, that would be your out right about now. Or knifing.
Ooh,
works,
I
too.
think I'm thinking about it. Oh, look at that climax. I'm like, okay, well, you know. Okay, I found a character, so I'm not. So that means I would be refreshing what 1, 2. I know where 2 of them are, so refreshing 6. But I have a climax. I'm able to grab back the knives. I don't think it's that bad. Your deck speed is very fast in this deck, so while I can't deck myself out this turn, hopefully just get 1 or 2 cancels off of this deck, and then, you know, go to the next deck. That's the hope. Now I take my draw, and I take my ditch. Definitely thinking here.
He should only have, like, what, maybe at most 1 or 2 left in deck?
Get rid of a knife. Why am I getting rid of the knife? Probably because probably just looking at this brand new deck and just saying, you know what? I don't want to mess it up too much. Heal. Definitely nice, paying out the climax. And then I have the option to use the knife.
So that's 1 firebolt so far. You need 3 currently if you want to get over that Eris 1/1.
No I don't, because I have the early play out.
Sure, but I think that's going after a Ghislaine. Start clearing some of their board.
He doesn't know how I play. I don't understand, like, digging so hard for what is, like, a very minimal thing, right? He has the 2/2s he can just shove up. So, like, I think, like, reaching super hard to kill the Eris is, like, not even worth. So we see here, I get a search. That's a card out of my deck. Definitely nice. And see, because, like, the reason is, like, yeah, I can kill the Eris, but, like, the 2/2 is just going to go replace it, right? He already has the replacements for the cards in the front row that I can kill. So I don't understand reaching to kill a 1/1, like, by just, like, possibly ruining my deck. And not utilizing the triggers available to me. Because I have a Pants and a Gate. So I have a Pants and a character in grave currently, so I have targets for if I do trigger. So I think that milling would just be... I don't think it's, like, super worth right here. That's my thought process. So, yeah, I just don't care. This is how I live my life. I just sandbag forever.
And it works.
It does. You stick damage. Weiss is a good game. Look at that. He's 3-5 now, or 2-5 now. The game, because, like, you know, he got all those cancels early. But he had a pretty thick deck, and he just was not able to get through it, right? He was able to put up a board. It was hard for...
One of the combo 1/1, so it doesn't have that much mill speed.
Well, he also sacrificed his Brainstormer pretty early on.
To get out the bigger board?
Well, he actually just pushed it up. He actually just put it front row and attacked. He didn't even brainstorm with it, so he never used the Brainstormer. He was just relying on his Erises, I guess, for deck speed.
But he only put down a single Eris, so it's like...
Yeah,
there wasn't even a lot of deck speed there.
I think that's one of the struggles of Bishoku is deck speed if you lose your brainstorms.
Well, it's also board configuration, right? Because the brainstorm doesn't feed into your board, and it's like a dead spot on your board, but you need to have those spots for, like, when you hit the standbys. Like, right, like, where do you put your cards? And so the brainstorm, having access to it when you need it is important, but it's kind of hard to leave it around, right?
Yeah, I would say so. It's kind of my struggles with some of my standby decks. Is that if I do trigger standby, where do I put that?
That's why, you know what cards are insane? Things like the Rabbit and Ruby, where you have the 2/1s that can brainstorm as well. So they fill both roles of both an assist and a brainstorm.
Or the Dow brainstormer that bounces on its climax play.
Ooh. You see here, I eat a 3. I'm fine, though. You know, all I have to do is cancel once or twice, and I'm able to elongate this level. And that's all I really want to do. So I got my 2 cancels out of the deck. I'm very happy about it. I have double knife. I'm able to get through the deck if I want. And we're looking, see it. Counting. Very important to count how many cards are in your deck to be able to make the correct plays. Like, do you need to clock draw? Do you have the actual reach you need without? Brainstorm. Oh, hit 1. Able to go get a search. Getting a copy of the finisher, you know, definitely getting set up. A card I really didn't use during this tournament a lot was the 1-0. What's his name? Redhead guy?
Well,
yeah. I didn't use him that often.
I mean, it's a fairly lackluster effect. You need the 1/1 event in waiting room for it to be worth. And
Yeah.
even then, sometimes it's like if you only have 1 or 2. I've seen guys who've done it with none in waiting room, and they just look at 1 card, and I'm just sitting here just like, you must be bleeding really hard for hand, I guess.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's not a guarantee, right? Like, if you brainstorm and you hit a couple climaxes, feels really good. This guy, he can only feel okay at best. Using this,
he's trading 1 stock for 1 card, and hopefully it's a card. I don't know if he grabs any card, but it definitely feels bad if you're having to use it.
and then right here, the legendary. Look at that. Boom, early play heal for the sandbag. But I'm able to clear the 1/1, which is very nice. And then I just, you know, who cares? Crash the other 2 lanes, get a little bit of damage in. Put him within lethal range of the Hestia finisher, which doesn't have much reach. I think I looked and I think I said, wow, you refreshed, like, what was it, like 6 or 7?
I believe it was 6, yeah.
6, and then there's a climax engrave. Yeah, I'm just going to slam a climax. We're going to push some damage. And, you know, if he cancels 3 times, the game will get really rough. But if he doesn't, the game should be pretty easy on my end.
I think he bled a climax as well, so I think you can see one, or you saw one earlier in his hand. So he has 1 in hand, so you should be looking pretty good right now.
It is now level 3.
3-1.
I think I also thought at this point, like, damn, if he tap counters me, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, I was wondering why you didn't attack with level 3 first.
But I think I asked him if the tap counter was out at the beginning. Like, when he refreshed. Because I think his list only played a 1 of, if I'm not mistaken. And I think I saw it go back in.
2 of the most Shoku lists.
So what I've noticed is with the tap counter, you're either running 1 or 2, and you're running 2 if you're not playing the blue event package.
But, like, here's...
You're running 2, or you're running 2 if you are playing, or you're running 1 if you are playing.
But, like, here's another thing. If he tap counters me here, he can't present any form of lethal, right? If I swing for 2, he tap counters a lane, and then I swing for 2 again, and I stick 4. Or he tap counters my 3-2, right? It's like, if I stick any damage, and then he goes into his Gizlane turn with 0 stock... I just don't care, right? I don't care. I am 2-2. He wasted a bunch of stock to blank a single attack and leave me an extra card in deck to deal an extra damage, and I just don't care. Because he loses a lot of reach here. He loses flexibility on his end. So that's probably why I was doing it.
Kill range from where you are with this, even with the combo.
No, but I'm saying it's if he tap countered me, he would be in a far worse spot there that turn, which is probably was my thought. Because I think my thought was if I swing for 2 and 2 first, the 3 the 3 is more likely to cancel, and I just want to progress this clock to level 3 was my thought if I'm not mistaken. Because the Hestia is really bad at killing from, like, you know, high 2. Only okay from level 3, but from 3-2, you know, the finisher should have the reach it needs.
There's the tap counter.
And we'll get the cancel on 3, you know, Don Machi things, just canceling on exact.
Here.
Okay, here we go. My guy dies. I think I was just asking about the tap counter and a few other things. because I was like, oh, I don't know where he gets the tap counter, and then I check his list, which freezes the video, where I'm like, okay, wow, he plays one tap counter, you know, easy position to be in, definitely for me. I mean, when you're not like aggressively using your brainstorms, though, it's like, right, well, what's he supposed to do?
I haven't played in BROs. You're allowed to look at your opponent's list?
Yes, it's open deck list. That's why my NA run was ended in round 1.
Ah, I see.
Why was that? Your opponent looked at your deck list and said something's wrong?
Yeah, they looked and said, hey, that card's not on your list. And I went, yep, it's not. The Yang clean cut was left over from that awful Australia list. Drop search for a healer, you know. Only need 4 stock for the Hestia, so why not just use it right here? Put ourselves down to 4. And make the gap just insurmountable, hopefully, for my opponent. No mill, because, like, why would I use the deck? Like, I don't need the deck speed, right? We don't want to mess up the deck. Just heal, sit. I'm like, I'm not even going to put the knife under this guy. He's dead. Don't care. Upside down. And upside down. Take the hand. Definitely nice. Getting a Hestia. Cementing the, basically, you know. I think it would take a lot to lose from here.
It would, because I wasn't counting. I think probably most out like what, 4?
It's like 3 or 4. And the deck is like somewhat thick, but
he's swinging open lanes.
Yeah.
So 3 plus the combo.
And I'm 2-5. It's like as long as he doesn't, it should almost be impossible to die from here, but it's not. It's not impossible, but it's very, very unlikely, right? So
I wish I'd done this to you before.
Look, just because every time I sit across from you, there's like 0 climaxes in my deck at all times. Doesn't mean it happens in bracket all the time, okay?
Listen, the best way of beating Dean, for any of you watching, if you ever want to beat Dean at any tournament, all you got to do is build your deck at 3 a.m. because he builds his at 2 a.m. So you build it at 3 a.m. and then you have the power to beat Dean.
Right.
He's right.
Lucky spice right there.
I didn't build this deck. This deck was given to me by the Kit King.
And that's why you lost.
Leader of Burn 1 himself.
Shadow leader.
Well, if you didn't know, so far, my only loss was in round 4, which was the game before this. This is round 5. So, you know, 4-1's pretty good. Well, sorry, 3-1, spoiler. 3-1's a pretty good record so far. That is a 75% win rate. Okay, so what's going on here? Oh, it's the Akatsuki.
So what he's trying to do?
Look, we don't question it.
I think he's trying to get his tap counter into hand. Because I think he's realizing that's his only real way of surviving.
Wait, tap counter would not work here at all. What are you talking about?
He's gonna be at 3-6 after this.
You're right. Yeah, no, he's dead. He just needs to... I don't know what he's doing right now.
I forget if he was looking for a card.
Actually, that I like to do is call it going out on my own terms, you know? Ricking myself at 3-6. Great way of ending the game. So yeah, he's at 3-6 now. He has to kill you this turn, or you just swing back and kill him.
The thing is, with his damage output right now without Climax, he cannot actually kill Dean.
His Climax is a standby. It doesn't matter regardless. His standby doesn't...
Well, it burns 2, right? So it gives him, like, swing 4, burn 2s.
Yeah, if he had the standby, he would have pushed those out.
Oh my, look at this.
What is he?
What he's doing, he's denying the side attacks. He's saying, you know, I just have to cancel 6 times. It's so simple. And just swing with 1 soul beaters. Because, you know, or swing with these 1 soul beaters. Look, he can't even stick the damage. It's so sad. But, yeah, but like, so the thought is here, you know, just put up cards that don't offer side attacks, so the swings have to be for like as much as humanly possible, and just cancel 6 times. There's no other play. The game is going very rough for him. This was actually a very good line.
I mean, I think you just try field 3 level zeros, or just push your back rows up, and then you just swing. I don't even think you need the Hestia at this point. I think you just push up and swing.
No, I want to level myself here, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah,
I mean, that is something good. That is something that Danmachi is good at. It can churn through its deck like it's nothing.
well, I didn't have much of a deck, right? 8 cards.
Yeah.
Okay, what's going on here? What am I doing? I
You're
played a
getting ready
knife.
to brainstorm.
Looked at 2. Now, what am I draw ditching? Am I draw ditching? Oh no, I'm getting myself to 8. I'm getting myself to 8 climaxes in grave. Oh no, the early play heal comes down again. Massive lead. Massive lead. And then side. Getting the mark. If I'm not mistaken, I side. No reason not to. 1. Am I fronting? Oh yeah, he's probably like, oh yeah, was that a front? I say no. I do think it's the right play though, because like if he goes in, yeah, we get there. So that's the end of that one. But I do want to say, as bad as it looked, I think the Akatsukiing into the new deck to overplay your board, so that way you're not decompressing your next deck, right? I think is the thought. And you get that climax to go back in, and then presenting the level zeros. So if I go to level 3, it's like the only way he can win, right?
I think the way he was thinking about it was, I think he did not have enough climaxes in deck to survive at 3-5. So what he was doing was putting more climaxes back in, so he has even a slight chance of surviving at 3-6. Because I think he only
use 3-6 regardless.
One climax in there regardless. One climax in there, so I think that his best option was refreshing to get more than 3 climaxes.
Well, he only played over the Akatsuki and did 2, right? So like he only had a 2-card deck with 1 climax. And the thought is, like, if I overplay my board right now, I'll trigger this climax. It won't be in the next deck. So that's not an out. I actually, like, rewatching that moment was really good. Like, I know he didn't win, but that was, like, that was, like, a really good play on his part, I think. Because he prevented himself from decompressing too much, because he only decompressed 1 versus 3 by playing over. He denied me the ability to get the side attacks, because before he had the 2-2s on the board, he had the 3-2s, and the Hestia would just be able to sides for 1 and 2s, and it just completely plummets his ability to win. Well, yeah, like, I mean, the game was going horrible for him the entire game. The damage was flowing into his clock. He didn't have the mill he needed because the brainstorm was secondary to his gameplay. And I do kind of agree with that. I think the brainstorms they're kind of a waste, right? If you brainstorm and you hit with Mushoku, what do you grab? Is it going to be better than the cards on your board? Probably not. You probably want to trigger the standbys, right?
Well, you just go and grab tap counter.
Yeah, I mean, I think he probably should have played like more counts of tap counter, or like had better ways to find it. But outside of that, I do think the play was very nice, very solid on his part, even if the game itself was quite unfortunate.
Yeah, he did pretty all right.
But yeah, that's it for this one, and join us next time on round 7, because there is no round 6. Any last words, guys?
I don't have any.
Have a good one.